Crimson Desert looks too good to be true. Massive open world, insane physics, cinematic combat, all from a studio that's never built something this ambitious before. But the closer we get to launch, the more it actually seems like it might be true. If you've been living under a rock for the past 6 years, Crimson Desert is an open world action adventure game developed by Pearl Abyss, the in-game studio best known for their game Black Desert Online, which Crimson Desert is kind of a spiritual successor to. Crimson Desert was revealed all the way back in 2019 and was met with many different reactions, mostly skepticism, which was completely warranted. Pearl Abyss had only really worked on one big game at the time, and what they showed in the initial reveal trailer looked absolutely incredible. They actually gave a release window at the end of the trailer, winter 2021. Well, look how that turned out. Seeing as how it's March 2026, something must have happened, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. Delay after delay after delay after delay. It was initially slated for 2021 release, then 2024, then 2025, and now 2026. Seeing as how at the time of writing this script, the game was only 2 weeks away, I'm assuming there won't be any more delays, but who knows. This game has really become one of my most anticipated games of the year, second only to GTA 6, of course. I've been looking forward to it since I saw the first trailer back in 2019. Now, of course, I had my fair share of skepticism, and I still do, but now I really do believe this game is going to be exactly as advertised. Now, if the game comes out and it's terrible, I give you full permission to come back here and tell me I told you so in the comments. Over the years, Pearl Abyss has released multiple trailers and even hour-long gameplay videos, and every single time they release something new, it just keeps looking better. For example, recently they revealed there are actually 2 more main playable characters besides the main protagonist. Now, they also said that those 2 aren't as fleshed out, they aren't like real protagonists like the main guy, but still, it's crazy that they hid that from us this whole time. And if anything, these additions over the years should have kept me deterred and even more skeptical, which I am, but just not as much anymore. The reason for this sort of switch up, sort of not, is actually the performance. Since the reveal trailer, people have been saying things like, sure, this looks cool and all, but how does it run? And obviously, given how the gaming industry has been lately, people assumed it would run terribly. But as it turns out, that's not the case in the slightest. A few days ago, at the time of writing this script, they gave Digital Foundry a chance to review the performance and take a look at the game. For anyone who doesn't know, Digital Foundry is a great channel that goes in-depth about games, visuals, performance, technology details. They're awesome. So check them out. Pearl Abyss sent footage over to Digital Foundry for them to analyze, and as it turns out, the performance is absolutely amazing. At least on PC, that is. We haven't really gotten much footage on consoles aside from that one trailer on the PS5 Pro, but I'm sure we'll see how it performs on consoles in the days leading up to launch. The PC they used was a pretty solid machine, an RX 7900 XTX, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, which is really hard to come by nowadays, and a Ryzen 9 79X 3D. This technology is actually last generation hardware, which makes the performance that they achieved even more impressive. So what was the performance? Well, nothing short of 60 FPS at native 4K and ultra settings, and yeah, you heard that. Native 4K, no DLSS, no FSR upscaling. Well, they did use FSR, but only for the anti-aliasing so the edges don't look as jagged. This was just pure 4K resolution, which is absolutely incredible that they were able to get 60 FPS without any upscaling. This is insane. This really just shows what's possible when a company decides not to use Unreal Engine, which has grown so popular nowadays, and instead builds their own game engine. Because if this was an Unreal Engine game, you'd probably be lucky to get 45 FPS at 1080p on medium settings, with the amount of stuff that happens in this game. Unreal Engine really is becoming a big problem in today's gaming industry. Yes, it makes things easier for developers, but often at the cost of optimization, forcing studios to rely heavily on technologies like DLSS frame generation just to reach stable performance. Games like The Witcher 3 and Red Dead 2 show us what's possible when a studio builds their own game engine instead of relying entirely on Unreal. The engine Pearl Abyss is using is called Blackspace, developed in-house specifically to achieve what they're aiming for with this game. 4K 60 ray tracing, no upscaling. That's really impressive, and I genuinely give them props for taking a step, even if it's a small one, away from total dependence on upscaling technologies. By the way, let's go back to that ray tracing. Yeah, I forgot to mention, they also had ray tracing on, hitting 60 FPS at 4K. No upscaling. I can't hammer this home enough. This is so pivotal for this game's success, and every other gaming company in the history of the universe needs to follow in Pearl Abyss's footsteps with this. This could really change everything, and that is why Crimson Desert needs to be good. Not just because I'm excited for it and it looks cool, but the industry really needs a win like this. Over the past few years, we've seen a pattern of massive AAA games launching unfinished, performance issues everywhere, studios relying on upscaling and frame generation just to hit acceptable frame rates. The bar hasn't been moving forward at all. If anything, it's been getting pushed back. And a game like Red Dead 2 launched, it raised expectations. When Baldur's Gate 3 came out, it forced other developers to do better so they could compete. That's what boundary-shifting games do like that. They reset the standard. If Crimson Desert actually delivers on what it's showing, the scale, the systems, the physics, the performance, then it sends a message to the whole industry. It proves that having a huge game like this, you don't need it to run at 30 FPS to get everything running. If developers just spend the time to optimize their games, every game that comes out nowadays would be leagues better. If Crimson Desert is a success, it shows that custom engines still matter and shows publishers that players notice the quality. And maybe it'll even push studios to stop playing it safe and be more creative. So right now, we're in an era of sequels, safe design, familiar formulas, remakes, and remasters. Crimson Desert feels like it's trying to swing bigger than that. If it misses, it'll just be another promising game that flopped due to developers' ignorance. But if it hits, it might not just be another open-world action-adventure game. It might be the next step forward.